Good morning, and welcome to this morning's webinar. It's Ricky Patner from DataBasics here. I'm just watching everybody log in. We've just hit our 10 o'clock point here on Tuesday the 26th of July. We'll be running this morning's webinar on flight, covering the latest releases from Canto. ORD, which is the airport code for Chicago, was released in July of this year, just a few weeks ago. And we'll also be looking at MIA for Miami, which came out in May. That was a little bit of a sneak release. I'm still watching people logging in. Looks like we're going to have a full house here today. Now then, just everybody confirm if somebody could, if I'm going to put in a question here. Right, just checking that people can hear me okay. I'd like to always check that. You should be, right, good. Daryl, yep, hearing me okay. Linda, Peter, and several others. Fantastic, thank you for your feedback. You should also be seeing on my screen flight. I'm using a fairly small screen just to make sure that the webinar keeps rolling along quite well. Now then, if you do find the screen lags behind what I'm saying, do send through a question. You've all obviously found the question panel in GoToWebinar, which is really great. So without further ado, I will start. So, okay. So I'm going to work off these two tabs over here, which show from Canto's blog, which show the release of the Miami and the Chicago release. I'm going to start off with Miami because some of the things that are in the MIA release you'll see me using as I go through the solution. Now then, pretty much there's a few people that are new to flight, so I will give a brief introduction to just some of the basics, like how you catalog and organize files. I will really keep that to a minimum. As I can see, most people, about 3/4 of the people that are logged in are existing users. Okay, so let's just start over here with my login. I'll just refresh my login. Everything's working okay. Yep, good. Okay, so flight, it's all about simple and easy to use. Essentially, when you're doing something with flight or trying something out, if it looks complex or difficult, you're probably going the wrong way, give us here at DataBasics a call. We're here to help and sort you out, but really this solution should be all about simple and easy to use. Some of the very simple stuff here, we've got on the screen a whole range of different content being shown by the thumbnail. The smart album up here shows that we're currently looking at all images. This happens automatically. If we want to look at videos, we can click on videos here. We'll see all the different types of videos. Today I'll be talking a little bit about the high-res videos, and particularly I'll be showing this 4K video. Sexiest latest thing that everybody's talking about is 4K video. We can also look at audio, documents. So a lot of people I'm seeing are using a flight for document management as well as the image management. We in fact have a customer who is just doing document managers in flight. You can see here everything from a doc file to a text file to a PDF and other formats. Flight will show you imagery of, the preview will extract all the text, make all of that searchable. Over here we've got presentations, typically PowerPoint presentations, and then right over here, enigmatically named others. You just get files that don't fit into the other 5 smart album groupings. And that doesn't mean they're not supported. Things like InDesign files, you should see that will show thumbnail and preview, or extract the text, allow you to download them, tag them, search and retrieve, just like any other sort of file. We can also choose, I'll just swap back to my images here, we can choose to see them as either thumbnails in the bottom right, over here as a list view, which is a bit more like a spreadsheet sort of thing, Or and I'm just going to wander over here for a moment and get the stuff from the Great Ocean Road. Right. And because you can also see them in a geo view, which I think is particularly good. So a geo view, it's showing the map here. I'm just checking. Yep, nobody's told me that the screen isn't updating, so I'm taking it the screen's updating okay. This map view, really good. It just picks up the GPS coordinates in the image. You don't have to do anything, and you can then zoom into the map and move around and see where different images were taken. So you can come right in here. This is my holiday down on the Great Ocean Road, and you can see over here when we're at the 12 Apostles, images that we took there. Oh, lovely. You can also do things over here, like say in the thumbnail view, we can have different size thumbnails, we can apply a sort order, etc. All good stuff. Now then, you can search and retrieve content in flight very simply. We can come up to our search area up here. We can just put in a simple search term like blue, search and find everything that's got the keyword blue in it somewhere. Or as you see, we can also hover over the little magnifying glass and do something a little bit more complex. So we can search within results globally. We can look into particular fields within flight, and we can combine terms with and or there. We can also use our folders and our albums. So to be clear, a folder like location or Australia is a hierarchical organisation element, whereas an album here, this is what I call an endpoint. It's basically where you put your assets into an album. So we can click on an album for Brisbane, and we'll see all the content that's cross-referenced for Brisbane. We can go to Central Australia, see all the stuff from places like Alice Springs. Now then, and one image can be in multiple different locations. So I've got my little image of a cat that seems to have sneaked in there, always sneak in there. And you can see that this one is in the Central Australia album. We can add that to another album if we want to. So say if we want to put him in also in our adventure album, I can just click on that. And then we've got him also in adventure album. If we want to take him out of Central Australia, I can just click the cross there. And then when we go back over here, looking at Central Australia, we should see that we've fixed that up and we've got that cat out of the Central Australia album. Okay, and so that's a brief introduction into things in flight. As you see me go through the product, you'll see me go into lots of other areas in the solution. I'll be particularly using my follow button over here to look at some of the assets that I've set up for this presentation. You'll see me clicking onto content, looking at the preview in the preview screen, using the down button up here, looking at the metadata that is associated with this asset. We'll also be going across into settings over here. I'm logged into flight as a pilot, so I can do everything. Now then, if anybody wants to ask me questions about, you know, what's a pilot, what's a crew member, and a passenger, just let me know. Most people, I think, are up to date on that. But I can go into settings anytime over here and look at the different configuration options. Okay, so let me first go over and just reset my view like this. I'm going to go up to our blog on the Miami release. My objective is to wrap up this webinar pretty much on the 30-minute mark. Now, of course, if any of you want to find out more, you know, please do contact me, ricky@databasics.com.au, or anybody here at DataBasics. Just let us know how to help, and we can send you more information, or I can give you a private little showing webinar type of thing and help you out with any issues that you might have. Okay, the MIA, the Miami release, came out in May, and it was a sort of a intermediate release. There wasn't a big promotion about it. There was some updates that Canto really wanted to sneak into the product, And you'll see as a common theme in both the MIA and the ORD releases, a lot of interface improvements. So first thing here is the new settings interface. You saw a brief bit of that when I went into settings, okay, off my menu in the top right corner. And you can see that we've got a very visual, graphical interface to do any of the most complex stuff that would normally be in another product quite complex, overwhelming to do, very simple to do in Flight. So say if I wanted to look at my digital rights management up here, I can click on that. You can see that Flight Canto have given you very nice and you know, quite well explained help on the right hand side panel here. We can choose to turn digital right management on, and we can upload a watermark. It explains over here how all of these different items work, and you can see that Canto has embedded some links there to help you out with more information. And we'll see some assets that I've set up with digital rights management later on. If we wanted to go and say at looking at a portal, so if we look at my general content portal, portals are perhaps one of the most complex things to set up in Flight, but here again it's a very simple sort of process. We give it a name, we give it a URL slug, that's going to be what sits at the back end of the URL. We give us some description over here. We can select the content from under the edit button here, so we can choose what folders and albums we want to have included in our portal. We can choose which users or which groups, so we can select which groups. So I've got all of the staff set up to access our general content portal. We can look at some of the permissions here, so we can apply permissions which are specific to individual portals here, or we can go down and set up custom branding here, which is really good. And again, really the point here is this, with this settings interface, this makes the whole product really simple and easy to use, and that includes not only the user interface, but also how an administrator, a pilot, is going to work with the product and set it up so Flight does exactly what you want it to do. Okay, now then, follow files, and you've seen a little bit of that already. So you'll see I will go to my follow, which is just my little icon here, and I'm following a set of files. These are just files that I prepared for some of the features that I'll be showing in MIA and ORD. Just a really quick way for me to get there. You can think of it as your grab bag or your collection basket or something like that. It just makes that content really quick. And if you want to add some content to your follow list, all you do there is you can see you can just put your cursor over an asset and just click the little I button. So if I want to have this one here, or maybe I'll have this soccer player. I'm going to add that soccer player, and you can see that little I is now highlighted a different color, and that will now appear under my follow list. Right. Now then, my collections. This is the bit that I really liked in the MII release, and it's something that I thought was a little bit missing in the previous versions of Flight, but this also really shows you how Canto is developing and increasing the content, the capabilities of the Flight solution on a very regular basis, and have added this real great area, this capability of how you can manage collections. Now, what collections are is there are a particular list or set of files that you want to earmark and you want to get back to them really easily. So if I just go to my login, you can see that you can go to my collections at any time. And if I go up to my collections, you'll see that I want to look at these brand images. Now, these brand images are images that I need to access all day long. I often get them, people ask me for them. I'm going to drag and drop them into InDesign. I'm going to do lots of things. So having selected it, I can then just click the submit button, and it'll show me that collection of files. Now, those files, I've got them cross-referenced into different areas, into albums. I've got them tagged differently, but I don't have to remember how to search and retrieve them. I've just put them into that collection and made that very simple and easy, very quick for me to access. So say if I want to create a new collection or add to an existing collection, it's all the same thing, very simple to do. what I'm going to do is come up with some lifestyle ones. So say this one here, I'm going to select that by ticking the little tick in the top right hand corner. There was a couple of others from lifestyle. I was going to add this one here, then maybe that one there, and maybe this one here. Right, so they're my lifestyle images, and I can just go to the menu here, the pop-up menu here, and I can choose to add them to my collection here. Add to my collection, and when I go and add them to collection, I can add them to an existing collection, right? Or I can type in a new collection. So if I want to have lifestyle images, right, and create that, that's going to create that collection and add that content there. So if I now go back to my collections menu, I can go and choose my lifestyle images there, click the submit button, and oops, did I not add them to my collection correctly? Sometimes I'll do that. Yeah, here they are. And you can see I've now got those 4 images in my lifestyle collection. So that's really simple and easy to use, very powerful feature. It means that you can keep a whole range of different content close and easy and make them available to you. Like once you get them, if I wanted to share these out, I could just say select all, and then I wanted to share these content, and I can maybe send an email or create a link automatically to that content. So it makes the whole process of getting stuff from flight and making it available to people really easy. Okay, my collections, that was my favorite feature from the MIA release. And now then, a couple other things here. Recently added files, you'll see this in my view. It's just a little button down the bottom here. You can just see the most recently added content. Also, you'll see that when you upload content now, it'll appear in your view automatically. I won't do a little demo on that. We need to move through things fairly quickly. Real-time branding, this is good. We saw that a little bit. So if I go over to my settings, and so if I go into my website portal and expand the custom branding, you can see over here on the right a preview of what the branding will look like. So this is when I say upload a new logo, which will appear there, or set a primary, secondary color. You'll see that it'll update here automatically. Another example of this is that if I go and look at my company internal portal, look at the custom branding there, you can see here it's showing the logon screen. I've set this primary color to white. I've put in a logo up here, set the name, your company image portal here, and it shows you what the screen will look like when somebody logs in first. Okay. Right. That was a little bit complex before when people were setting up the branding. They had to set it and then try it and go back there. Now it updates automatically, which is really good. Now this is another feature request that people have asked. They've been wanting to be able to add not only folders but also albums into portals, and you can now do that. So when we started off with Flight, it was just root level folders. Now you can pluck out individual albums and or folders from anywhere you like and add them to the content that's being shown in portals. Makes it much more flexible, really good there. And some keyboard shortcuts. They added the escape key. It was something that people would do things like they would start selecting files like this, and then other stuff wouldn't work for them. Now then, correctly, you click the cancel button in the bottom left, or you can now just hit escape, and it'll just return you to the default way that Flight has itself organized. Okay, so it basically backs you out, gets you back to what you're used to very quickly, you know, and it just makes Flight really simple and easy to use. Alrighty, so that was the main features from the MIA release from May. Now let's have a look at the ORD release. So ORD is Chicago, and we started off with some self-registration. Okay, now then if I just log out, We'll see how that works. So this is something that people have asked for a while. What they really want is that rather than having to set up all of the users within Flight, they want a self-registration process so people can register now. They also want the ability to control it and do different ways. So you can see I'm at our main login. So you could be handing out this URL to anybody in your company, and you tell them, look, when you go to log in, if you haven't got a login already, just click the Register Now button. And in our case, I've set this to get their first, last name, then their email address, and I'm limiting our self-registration to just work for people within our domain. So they need to have a databasics.com.au email address. Okay, so if I just jump in and show you over here in settings, we can see how to do self-registration here. Okay, I'm just checking. I haven't had any questions asked. I'm assuming the screen's updating fast enough for everybody. That's really good. That's exceptional. We had I think the last time we did a webinar, the screen was a little bit slow, but that's all good. Now then, there's two different types of self-registration. So I should say for a start, you can choose to turn it on or off. You don't have to have it there. And you can then nominate whether somebody can register on the main tenant, which is the main portal that I'm looking at, or to just be limited to portals in themselves. So that's the sub-content. And if anybody needs me to explain a little bit more about portals, just let me know, just send through a question. And then we can choose to validate either. I've got it set up for our email address, or we can be using an invitation code. And if we swap over to an invitation code like this, you'll see that we'll get a code. We can copy that to the clipboard, and this might be something that you send out to a range of people. Maybe they're external from your site, and you can set up an expiry date. So this invitation to self-register is going to run to the end of the year. And when people log on, they will get to enter their name, their email address, and then they've got to put in the invitation code. So that then limits it down to just the people that you want to be able to log in. I'm going to go back to that there. Good. Okay. Okay. Right, so that was where ORD kicked off with self-registration. Really good. Now then, my favorite feature from ORD is the file relations. Now, this is something that we really call like organic relationships, and we've seen this a lot with people using digital asset management or image library type of solutions. We've shown you different ways of grouping content. We can have structured content using our folders and our albums. Like over here, we can have an album for adventure or for documentary. That's very good. We can have search terms up here. We've shown you how you can follow files and have just those files that you want to be concentrating at any time. And we've also had a look at how you can create these collections, content that you can go back to at any stage and repurpose and reuse. Now then, what file relationships are even something more organic, more intimate. Now then, very simple application of this. I've got this image here. It shows somebody doing a crime scene investigation, and for me to be able to use that, I need a permission form, a model release form. So let's have a look. You can see that I've got one related file here. Just click the dots, and you can see that we've got a model release form for that person. That's great. Okay, so we can come there, click on model release form, and we'll see the model release form. It's a .doc file here. We can see all of the text that goes with it under the description here, and we can see that there is a relationship, and it's a very intimate relationship between that model release form and the image. Now we can have a fairly complex relationship. We could have multiple images related to one model release form, one release form related to multiple images. That's something that people ask us about all the time. So that shows a very simple way that the relationships work, and a very practical way of having a model release form associated with an image. A more casual way of doing that may be just images. So if I go and have a look at this image here, it's an image of a building. Not quite sure. I think I took that also when I was in New Zealand, I think. And if we go down here, we can see we've got two related files with that. And you can see here, when I click on it, these two images, the thumbnail might be a little bit small for you, but I can see it there. This is another building, so I can go and have a look at other images, like these images I took from more or less the same position where I was standing. I'm just looking at the different buildings here. And you can just see why these images are related together, and it's all got to do with they were taken basically from the same point of where I was standing. And now to sort of stipulate that in a folder, an album, or a collection is pretty complex stuff, and just having this ability to relate files together is much simpler. So, you know, practical usages of these are maybe alternates of the same photo shoot run, and you want to just keep those images together. So if you pick one of the images and you're starting to use it and it's a bit tired and you want to look at some of the other images from the same photo shoot, you could look at other related images. They could be images that are related via the very nature of their usage. So you might be creating content that's going to be used in an InDesign document, and you just want to relate those images together. So it's a great feature from Canto there. We've had a lot of people ask for a capability like this. It's been logged up into the Canto online system for people to pose suggestions to Canto, and you can see that Canto's delivered on that, which is really good. My favourite feature from MIA. My second favourite feature, or yeah, probably my second favourite feature is upload link. Okay, and as it says now, currently or prior to the MIA ORD release, if you wanted somebody to upload into Flight, you had to do something like set them up as a user account. Hey, this might be a very casual one-time only upload, and so what we've done there is we've set up the ability to have different upload links. So I will just show you what some of my existing upload links look like first. So you can see here I've set up two upload links here. I've got this one here for these medanilla. Medanillas are flowers. And I actually sent this to myself. I'd taken those images over the weekend, and I sent this email to somebody external from the organisation. They don't need to be a Flight user. And I've said, hey, look, can you just upload those images here? And what happens is that they will get an email, a link in the email, and when they click on that link, it will just basically open up a Flight screen with no images, and they can just add their images to it. Now then, it goes through an automatic approval stage here. So initially, and you can see in the description over here, those images are held outside of the system. If I now want to approve them and import them, I can click on the import button here, and I'll just open up a new window, and it will show me those images that they uploaded here. So I might want to put them into a particular genre. So I'm going to select all, and I'm going to drag them over into the documentary there. So, okay, good. All right, so I've just added them to the documentary group here. It allows me to set up some metadata. So this is showing the pre-filler window here. So, yep, I want them to approve. I'm going to set an expiry date. Maybe just around about the same time next year. Add some keywords here. I know when I click on the pull down for keyword that you can't see it. Unfortunately, it's a feature of the different interfaces here, and then I'm going to add some tags like that, and now I've applied all the metadata to my content, and now it's been imported into my system. So with that feature, with the upload link, not only do you get a way of having that content being made available or make an upload link made available to somebody external who doesn't have a Flight login, but you can also have an import, a controlled import process. The way of creating a new upload link, really simple. Just come down to this upload link here, fill in their details, put in the person's detail, email address. You can have multiple. If you wanted to really crowdsource a whole lot of content from a whole lot of people, you could set up an upload link and run that for quite some time and have multiple people upload that. Great feature. Okay, right. Now then, also real tie here for my second most favourite feature in the MIA release is the personalised layout for information. So let's just jump over here now. What we're meaning here, and you can see my new Metanilla photos up there. If I go to, yeah, look, I'm going to go to that image down there. Right, and some of the interface differences here. So I can see that, you know, for the people that have been using Flight for a while, you know, we've got different buttons up here. We've also got the button to go to metadata here rather than down the bottom of the page. We can do our rotations, go between, expand it up to full screen, so a little bit different here. But what I'm mainly going to look at here is the layout of the metadata window. So this is really different and is a real good cleanup here that Canto did. Much nicer, much cleaner interface. Again, we've got the preview. We can add it to a collection. We can follow it, share it, download it all over here. And then what really is the difference here, besides a better looking interface, is that you can rearrange this to be the way that you want. Okay, so if you just think about how I've got my information, description, details, got my digital rights management down the bottom, maybe focus on that. Maybe I want to have my digital rights management over here on the right underneath versions. Now, so how do you do that? Okay, let's go off to settings and let's go and have a look at the configure information page. I can see Dan sent me along a question. I'll answer your question in just one moment, Dan. And you can see here that it now shows the 11 different areas, and it's a description over here on the right side, and we can move these around. So say if I want to grab this one here and I want to put that over here on the far right, so it's a little bit better. Maybe I want to put my description, maybe I want to put my description up the top there so people can see it a little bit better. Okay, save that. Good. Go back to where I was. Let's go and find that same method again. It's our Brisbane photograph here. Go straight to the metadata page and you can see, okay, we've now got our description, top center, and we've got our digital rights management here on the bottom right. Okay, and that makes setting up the information much easier for you. Okay, now then, Dan, your questions about self-registration. Oh, Dan, I just want to click on that. If you want to just send me that question again, it seems to have disappeared when I clicked on it. Don't know what I did there, but send me that question again. I want to answer your question about self-registration. Did something wrong there. Look, I'll just keep on moving along. Don't want to go over time. Right, okay. Few other features here, commenting on versions. So I think people have seen that you can add versions, multiple different versions of an asset, and now you can enter a comment to accurately describe the difference between the versions here. Now then, HD video previews, a real fabulous feature here. It won't do anything via the remote session because the remote session downs the resolution automatically. But you should find when you go to your flight system, if you're signed up for a demo system, that Canto is going to load up some initial images, and we should have things like this one over here. This 4K, we're doing something for one of the Australian Centre for Moving Image at the moment, and they're all about 4K. It's a new direction with video, and it's big high resolution stuff. It's when you go into a museum or you see big screen displays. 4K is actually the resolution they use, and that now plays. So you know, I can click on it, I can play it. just like this. But unfortunately, when you look through your GoToMeeting view, you're not going to see it in HD because GoToWebinar downs the actual resolution automatically for you. Great feature. Now then, yes, here we go. Right, okay. Dan, and the question about does self-registration feature require free unused passenger seats in order to be used? Yes. Yes, because what's happening when somebody does self-registration is that a user is automatically created in the system for them. So yes, you do need to have available licenses for that to work. And of course, whereas the upload link, if you just want somebody to do an upload, that doesn't require a license. But yes, for somebody to self-register, they need a license here. Okay, and so this is my 4K video. If I hit the play button here, we'll start to see this. I'm looking at it in HD preview, but I do know you're probably getting a jaggy view through GoToWebinar. Yeah, great feature from Canto there. Okay, now just wrap up on the last few features here. Advanced crew privileges. So just a little explanation for those that might be a bit new. Pilots are people who can do everything. They're administrators, and essentially pilots have access to the settings and everything under settings. I'm a pilot and I've been doing stuff in settings. Now then, a crew is somebody who can upload content. They're accessing the system in read-write. They can upload content, they can manage content, and they have limited access to settings. And what this feature here is that you can now set as an option that your crew members can do things like manage portals, add connections to some of the integrations with social media, or manage upload links. You'd almost definitely want them to be managing upload links, inviting people to upload content. So you can make some of the previous responsibility of a pilot now available to your crew members. And pretty much last feature here, publishing portals. So we saw this here when I went over to my portals, and if we look at my general content portal here, and for any of the existing users, when Canto did the ORD release, you'll see your existing portals saved with the same settings, slightly different interface, but any new portals that you create will have some slightly different options, and one of them is the autosync one here. So what autosync means is that it automatically syncs the content as you put it into flight to be available through the portal, which for some people is what you want. Other portals, so say if we go and have a look at our one we use for our website, you have to click the sync button up there. That's fine with us. What we have on our website, we want to remain fairly static. Now then, when you go to create a new portal over here, you do get an option up front about whether autosync is going to be on or off. You will be able to toggle it on later on. So you can choose to keep your portals just as they are at the moment and have them only sync when you request them. Alrighty, okay then. Now then, is there any other questions? Okay, yeah, no worries, Dan, no problems, Dan. I'm pretty much at the end of the webinar. You've been a great audience. Now then, just to go back over some of the things, we've covered the MIA release from May. You can see this information both of DataBasics blog and from Canto's blog. The ORD release, which just came out. Anybody with an existing login to Flight gets all these features automatically. And now then, the next few webinars, I've got some people focusing on some of the integration that you can do with CMS systems, and particularly showing some example WordPress integrations. And we'll also be looking at a general content, non-product specific webinar. We're a bit unsure of those dates, but you will see this information on DataBasics website. So anytime you go to DataBasics up here, and you'll see off our website, you can go to more info, say on Flight, and you'll see that our webinars page over here will show you the latest webinar information. You'll also be able to go up to our blog at any time over here, and you can see, say, on our information bulletin that just went out, we featured the DataBasics webinar. Do go to our website. So if you want to sign up for information bulletins, you can sign up right here. You can see a little bit about the DAM, Flight and WordPress CMS integration here. So this is the topic that we've got some people working on at the moment. I'm going to need some technical help here because I am not a CMS person, but this is what we want to show you. It's an out-of-the-box feature with Flight, is that you can just do integration with WordPress. It also comes with an API to do integration with lots of other solutions as well. And one last thing I could quickly show you is that if you go to our YouTube channel, which is DataBasics PL, so just go to YouTube and go DataBasics PL, or you will find it linked off our website. You will be able to go and see a list of all of our webinars that we've run recently here. So after this webinar is finished, because I have remembered to click the recording button, I will upload it. It will go up via YouTube, so you can share that around to other people. You will see, if you just go to videos here, a list of all of the different videos that we've done. You can see the AUS release here, some content that we did on cultural heritage and dams. You can see some more content here about why upgrade to Cumulus 10. So yeah, lots of different content for you to consume. Just check if there's any last questions. It's great. And thank you all very much for attending, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Thank you. Bye.